When people hear the phrase, having a good heart, some immediately mistake it for softness, for weakness, for being too emotional in a world that demands toughness. But the truth is, it takes far greater strength to remain kind in a world that often gives you every reason not to be. Think about it for a moment. It doesn't take much to be cold. It doesn't take much to be selfish. It doesn't take much to respond with bitterness when life deals you unfair cards. That's the easy path, the path almost anyone can walk. But to keep a good heart, to stay compassionate, to show love even after you've been hurt, that requires a strength most people will never understand. You see, the strongest people are not the ones who build walls around themselves. The strongest people are those who dare to remain open. They know the risk. They know that being open means sometimes being disappointed, sometimes being misunderstood, and sometimes even being taken for granted. But they choose to remain open anyway, because they know that living with a good heart is the only way to live fully. A good heart is not about never feeling pain. In fact, it often feels pain more deeply because it's sensitive to the struggles of others. A good heart notices things others ignore. The quiet sigh of someone who is tired, the smile that hides sadness, the unspoken plea in someone's eyes. And when it notices, it responds. That responsiveness, that willingness to care, is a sign of true courage. It is not weakness. It is the very definition of strength. Imagine, for a moment, two people standing in front of life's challenges. One chooses to harden, to shut down, to become indifferent. The other chooses to remain gentle, to keep loving, to keep forgiving. Who is actually stronger? It's easy to grow numb. It takes nothing to say, "I don't care anymore." But it takes everything inside you to say, "I've been hurt, but I will not stop caring. I've been let down, but I will not stop loving." That is real power. And here's the beautiful thing. A good heart doesn't just survive in tough times, it shapes them. It transforms situations. It can change the atmosphere of a room, the mood of a family, even the destiny of a community. Because when you meet someone with a good heart, you feel it. You may not always have the words to describe it, but you feel lighter, calmer, more hopeful. You feel like the world still has goodness in it. That's what your heart does for others when you choose to keep it pure, no matter what life throws your way. I want you to remember something. The world might not always celebrate your kindness. Sometimes it will ignore it. Sometimes it will test it. But deep down, you must know that every time you choose to stay true to your heart, you are building inner strength. You are proving that you cannot be broken by negativity, by cruelty, or by unfairness. And that kind of strength will carry you further than anything else in life. So never let anyone convince you that a good heart is a liability. Never let anyone tell you that kindness is a weakness. It is your greatest weapon, your most powerful shield, and your most precious gift. When you carry a good heart, you carry light into the darkest places. And no matter how the world responds, you can stand tall knowing that your strength lies not in how hard you can hit back, but in how deeply you can continue to love. So many people look at love, kindness or generosity as if it were a transaction. They give only when they are sure something will come back to them. They help only when they see a clear reward. But that's not the way a good heart works. A good heart doesn't calculate. It doesn't keep score. It doesn't hand out love with conditions attached. A good heart gives because giving is who it is. And when you live like that, you start to realize that love is never wasted. It is always an investment. Think of every kind gesture, every word of encouragement, every moment you've extended compassion to someone as if you were planting seeds. Now, when you plant a seed, you don't stand over it demanding it to grow right away. You don't pull at it to make it sprout faster. You don't look at the soil the next day and say, "Well, nothing's happening, so I wasted my time." No. You trust the process. You know that beneath the surface, something is happening, something invisible, something that will eventually break through in its own season. That's how love works. Sometimes you don't see the results right away. Sometimes you may feel like no one noticed or no one cared. But those seeds you've planted, they're alive, and one day they will bear fruit. The challenge is, many of us expect instant returns. We think, "I did good, so why am I still struggling? I showed love, so why didn't they love me back? I forgave, so why do I still feel pain?" And when the harvest doesn't show up immediately, we start to doubt the value of giving at all. But hear me on this. Love is never a loss. Even if it doesn't return from the person you gave it to, it will return in ways you can't imagine. Sometimes it comes back through opportunities. Sometimes it comes back through new relationships. Sometimes it comes back through peace of mind, knowing that you stayed true to yourself. There is an unseen balance in life, and it always pays back what you put into it. When you sow love, when you live with generosity, you are creating an energy that surrounds you. It might not come back in the same form, but it will always come back multiplied. And often it comes when you need it most. There may be moments when you feel exhausted, when you wonder if it's worth continuing to be the one who gives, who cares, who sacrifices. In those moments, remember that nothing given in love is ever wasted. And here's something powerful to think about. The greatest investments in life are rarely the ones that pay you back right away. The greatest investments are the ones that keep growing, quietly, steadily, until one day you realize you're surrounded by blessings you never expected. Every smile you caused, every life you touched, every person you helped, those are investments you've made into the world. And eventually, life has a way of cashing them back in your favor. So don't see your love as something that disappears into nothingness. See it as something eternal. See it as a treasure you've stored not just in the hearts of people, but in the very fabric of life itself. Every act of kindness, no matter how small, is written somewhere, recorded in the energy of the world, and it will always find its way back to you. Never regret being the one who gives more, loves more, or cares more. Never regret feeling like your love wasn't returned in the moment, because the truth is, it's not lost. It's simply waiting for its time. And when that time comes, when all the seeds you've planted finally rise, you'll see that what you thought was gone was really just growing roots. Love is never wasted. It is the most secure investment you will ever make. One of the hardest truths about having a good heart is that it doesn't shield you from pain. It often exposes you to it more. Because when you care deeply, you feel deeply. When you open yourself up to love, you also open yourself up to hurt. And let's be honest, there will be times when people will disappoint you, times when the love you gave will not be appreciated, times when the kindness you showed will be forgotten. It's in those moments that many people start to close off. They say, "Never again. I won't let anyone hurt me like that. I'll stop caring, I'll stop giving, I'll stop trusting." And while that reaction feels like protection, what it really does is build a prison around the heart. True resilience is not about shutting down. True resilience is about keeping your heart alive even after it's been wounded. It's about saying, "Yes, I've been hurt, but I will not let the hurt turn me into someone I am not." That is strength, because it's easy to let bitterness harden you. It's easy to let pain change you, but the real test is to hold on to your softness, to your compassion, even when life gives you every reason to let it go. Think of it like this. Storms will come, winds will blow, and rains will fall. A tree that is rigid and brittle will break. But a tree with deep roots and flexible branches will bend. It will sway. but it will not be destroyed. That's what resilience of the heart looks like. It's not about being untouched by hardship. It's about bending without breaking. It's about feeling the pain but refusing to let it steal your goodness. Yes, a good heart will sometimes face betrayal. Yes, it will experience moments of loneliness. Yes, it will give to people who don't give back. But each of those experiences has the potential to either harden you or strengthen you. The choice is yours. Do you let those moments close your heart, or do you let them deepen it? When you choose to keep loving despite the pain, you are building resilience that nothing can take away. And here's something important. Resilience doesn't mean pretending you're not hurt. It doesn't mean smiling through everything as if nothing affects you. That's not real strength, that's denial. Resilience is about acknowledging the hurt, feeling it fully, and then choosing not to live in it forever. It's about learning from the pain without becoming the pain. It's about saying, yes, I've been disappointed, but I will not stop believing in people. Yes, I've been let down, but I will not stop giving. Yes, I've been hurt, but I will not stop loving. There is a quiet power in that kind of resilience. People may not notice it right away, but it's there, and it grows stronger every time you refuse to let the world turn you cold. And eventually, people feel it. They sense that you are someone who has been through storms but still carries sunshine. They sense that you are someone who has been cut but still chooses to heal others. That is the mark of a resilient heart. It inspires others simply by existing. So the next time life wounds you, the next time someone takes advantage of your kindness, remind yourself that resilience is your answer. Not shutting down, not becoming bitter, not giving up on love, but staying rooted in who you are. Because no one can take away the strength of a heart that refuses to stop being good. That's what makes you unbreakable, even in the face of hurt. Life has a rhythm to it, a balance that operates quietly in the background whether we notice it or not. Some call it karma. Some call it the law of return. Others simply say, what goes around comes around. Whatever name you give it, the truth is the same. The energy you put into the world has a way of circling back to you. When you carry a good heart, when you choose kindness over cruelty, when you choose love over bitterness, you are sending something powerful into the universe. And while you may not see it immediately, one day it will find its way back to you. The mistake many people make is believing that goodness has no reward. They look at those who cheat, lie, or manipulate their way through life and think, they're getting ahead, while I'm left behind. They feel like their kindness is being wasted because it doesn't bring them instant recognition or material gain. But here's the reality. Shortcuts may bring temporary success, but they always demand a price later. Meanwhile, the love you give, the honesty you live by, the kindness you practice, those build a foundation that will never collapse. The return may not be immediate, but when it comes multiplied. Think of it like a boomerang. You throw it out into the air and for a while it disappears. You don't see it. You may even think it's gone for good. But if you wait, if you trust, it circles back. That's how love and kindness work. You might give encouragement to someone today and never hear from them again. Yet, years later, that same encouragement might ripple into their success, and they may come back to thank you. Or life may thank you in another way entirely. You may help someone who cannot repay you, but later on, when you least expect it, someone else shows up to lift you when you're in need. The return doesn't always come from the same source, but it always comes. What you must remember is that negativity works the same way. If you send out bitterness, if you spread hate, if you choose cruelty, that too comes back. That's why living with a good heart is never foolish, it's wise. You're building a cycle around yourself that ensures your future is filled with blessings. not regrets. Every word, every action, every choice you make plants something in the soil of life, and eventually, you will harvest what you planted. This is why you should never be discouraged when your kindness feels unnoticed. Just because the world doesn't clap for you today doesn't mean the universe isn't keeping track. Just because you don't see the return now doesn't mean it isn't on its way. You might be planting in one season and harvesting in another. The key is to trust the process, to know deep down that nothing you give from the heart is ever wasted. And here's something even more beautiful. When the return comes, it rarely matches the size of what you gave. It's often greater. A single act of kindness can come back as lifelong friendship. A word of encouragement can come back as opportunities you never imagined. A moment of love can come back as a lifetime of blessings. That's the law of return. You may give in drops, but life sends it back to you like an ocean. So keep giving, keep loving, keep spreading kindness even when you don't see the results right away. Because one day, when you look back, you'll realize that every good thing you sent out into the world was making its way back to you all along. And in that moment, you'll understand that your good heart was never a burden. It was your greatest investment in life. One of the most powerful things about carrying a good heart is that it doesn't just shape your own life. It shapes the lives of everyone around you. Sometimes we underestimate just how much influence we have. We think, I'm just one person, what difference can I make? But the truth is, your kindness, your compassion, your willingness to love even when it's not easy, it inspires others in ways you may never see. Think about the times in your own life when someone's simple act of kindness lifted you. Maybe it was a smile when you were having a bad day, a word of encouragement when you felt like giving up, or someone showing up for you when you least expected it. Those moments stayed with you. They reminded you that the world still has goodness in it, and they gave you the strength to keep going. Now imagine how many times you've done that for someone else, often without even realizing it. That is the ripple effect of a good heart. The truth is, people are always watching, not in a judgmental way, but in a learning way. When you choose kindness, when you choose to forgive, when you choose to stand firm in your values even when it's hard, others notice. Maybe they don't say anything in the moment, but they carry that memory. And later, when they face their own crossroads, they remember what they saw in you. Your actions become their example. That's how kindness spreads. Not by speeches, not by lectures, but by living it out consistently, day after day. The world doesn't change because one person does something huge. The world changes because millions of small acts of love and kindness create a wave that cannot be ignored. You may think your contribution is small, but small acts compound. One gentle word might prevent someone from giving up. One act of forgiveness might break a cycle of bitterness. One moment of compassion might inspire someone else to live with compassion too. And once it starts spreading, it takes on a life of its own. This is why a good heart should never regret giving. Because even if you don't see the return directly, you're planting something in people's lives that keeps growing. Maybe you'll never know that the encouragement you gave to a stranger one day was the reason they didn't give up. Maybe you'll never know that the kindness you showed to a friend inspired them to show kindness to their family, who then passed it on to someone else. But just because you don't see it doesn't mean it isn't happening. Your good heart is leaving a legacy far bigger than you realize. And here's the beautiful thing. When you inspire others, you create a circle that eventually comes back to you. The love you give teaches others how to love. The kindness you show teaches others how to be kind. And over time, you find yourself living in a world that feels a little gentler, a little more compassionate, because you played a part in shaping it. So the next time you feel like your good heart doesn't matter, remember that someone, somewhere is watching and learning from you. Someone is carrying a piece of your love in their own life, and one day, that love will echo back, not only blessing you but blessing others you may never even meet. That is the quiet power of a good heart. It doesn't just live for itself. It lives in the hearts of everyone it touches. And that kind of influence never dies. At the end of the day, the greatest danger to a good heart is not betrayal, not disappointment, not loneliness. It's regret. Too many people look back and say, "I wish I hadn't cared so much. I wish I hadn't given so much. I wish I hadn't trusted so easily." They see their love as a weakness, as if caring deeply somehow made them less. But I want you to hear me clearly. Never regret having a good heart. Never regret the love you gave, the kindness you showed, the sacrifices you made. Because even if the world didn't always return it in the way you hoped, it shaped you into someone extraordinary. Regret is dangerous because it convinces you to abandon the very thing that makes you unique. It whispers, "Stop caring, stop giving, harden yourself so you won't get hurt again." But regret doesn't protect you. It robs you. It robs you of your joy, your peace, your light. And once you let it take hold, you stop living as your true self. You become guarded, closed, afraid. That's not strength, that's surrender. True strength is to look back at everything you gave and say, "Even if it wasn't always returned, I am proud of who I chose to be." You see, every drop of love you gave is still out there. Maybe it wasn't appreciated in the moment. Maybe it was ignored or even taken for granted. But love never disappears. It lives on in the people you touched, in the lives you influenced, in the energy you spread. And even if you can't see it yet, it is on its way back to you. One day, in ways you cannot predict, all the love you poured out will come rushing back, multiplied. It may come through opportunities, through friendships, through peace of mind, or through blessings you never imagined. But it will come. Life has a way of balancing itself. That's why regret is not only unnecessary, it's misplaced. You didn't lose by having a good heart. You didn't fail by giving love. You didn't make a mistake by caring. Those choices weren't weaknesses, they were victories. They proved that no matter what the world threw at you, you stayed true to yourself. And that is something no one can take away from you. So instead of regret, choose belief. Believe that your good heart has meaning. Believe that your love has purpose. Believe that even if today feels heavy, the seeds you've planted will bloom tomorrow. Believe that your kindness has created ripples far beyond what you can see. Because when you believe, you keep your heart alive. And when your heart is alive, you are unstoppable. One day, when you look back, you won't remember the times you were hurt as much as you'll remember the times you stayed true. You'll remember that you never gave up on love. You'll remember that you never let bitterness define you. And you'll see the blessings that came back, the ones that made you realize it was all worth it. So, never regret having a good heart. Walk boldly with it. Protect it, but don't hide it. Nurture it, but don't silence it. Because your good heart is not a weakness. It's your greatest gift to the world. And one day, all the love you gave, every ounce of compassion, every moment of kindness, will return to you like a tide, stronger and greater than you ever imagined. And in that moment, you'll understand. You never lost anything by giving. You only gained everything by being true to who you are.